Hey everybody, Whip here, and welcome on back to Minecraft. Today we are back here in the single player world of working on our village here, River Rose. And last episode we came through, built up this awesome inn with a weird balcony on the front of it, and added in a cool stables section off to the side, which is working out really well for us. And then of course we added in 3 little farmer houses off to the side. We got a lot of building done in the last episode, and it was so cool. I'm so very happy with the results of that one. Thank you all so very much for the support on that episode. All of the likes were very much appreciated, as that one was a heck of a lot of work. Today, however, we are not going to be slowing down at all. We very quickly need to come over here to find our job board. We've got a little bit of updating to do. We've got a few of these things that we can start to knock off, I hope. Well, farmland and landscaping, I think oh, hello, chicken. How you doing down there, buddy? We can knock off the farmland here. So that was landscaping and trees, which will be good on there. And then we've got a lot left on here to go, right? To get ourselves started with that one, we are kicking this off into good old-fashioned time-lapse mode and building up the other side of this here river. The fWhip double dirt supplies are starting to dwindle, my friends. That is all we have left of the dirt. We also have a shulker box of mostly grass over here, but the dirt is running very low. It's so awesome to have this area completed, though. Also, new shaders to go for now. Look how fluffy these Minecraft clouds are. There's so much volume to them. There's so much oomph. I love them. They're so cool. Unfortunate part with this shader pack, armor and weapons and things, well, they're a little dark right now. Thanks, Optifine. If you could actually release for once, that would be really cool, and fix all these bugs with it. That would be awesome. But for now, this is all we've got. One thing I would like to do before we start getting some building on for the day, which most of what we're going to do today for building-wise, is I want to plan out the other side of this here area that we have for the village, and also we can fly through these things. Oh, it's so cool. Look at that. Look at all that fog. Look at all that cloudy fogginess. That's so awesome. But coming over here into the village, or into the city, sorry, we're leaving the village right down over there, and we've got our city right here. Look at the reflection. Oh my god, it's so cool. I love this place. But I wanted to grab our maps and update these to where we're at now, because I think they're a little old now. I was checking this out a few days ago for another video that I recently published, talking about how to build a village and kind of the steps that I go through for planning it and everything like that. If you want to go check that out, I thought it was a pretty cool video. I tried incorporating a lot of B-roll footage into it. It was a cool little thing to test out. Wow, we can update all of this. We've got to grab quite a few of these. Move our sauteed seabird out of the way and come over here. I think we can get that. We probably honestly want to get all of those. And then can we get these things out of our face? That needs to come, that, and that. Wow, that's a lot of maps to update. Time to get these things done. And coming back over here to the village, look at these maps filling in here. One of the most satisfying things in all of Minecraft, I think, is just watching maps like that just fill in all over the place. And I think we can grab these other two and they'll just get a little bit of an edge on them right there, and that's going to be updating those ones just ever so perfectly. And then we need to get rid of all of those and bring out these 3 for ourselves, and I think that's going to be most of what we need here. I don't really know how much is going to be updating on this guy. We've got quite a lot of the stuff here. But oh my gosh, I love just watching the maps like unfold as they go throughout. I think it's such a cool thing. I think it was Iskal, he was streaming on Twitch a little while ago, and in order to make a fully white map, because he was making some map art on the old Hermitcraft server over there, he took a bunch of snow golems and leaded them and leashed them to himself and just was running across the place and just watching the map go from whatever it was before just to full-on white covered in snow layers was one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. But I'm gonna get these things back in here and we will jump back over to the project. And I gotta say, that looks really cool. That farmland looks absolutely awesome up here. But let's go plant some buildings in those spots, shall we? Now, I know the nostalgia shaders that I have been using can get a little framey, especially where in the single player way, so I'm messing around with a few different things to see if I can't get that to be a little bit better, but the shaders are like super configured for 1.14 and not very much for 1.15 yet, so I think that's most of the issues coming out of it because, you know, Optifine 1.15 doesn't quite exist. But my friends, it's been quite a while since we did the time-lapse in here building up all this stuff, and I've been doing a little bit more work and kind of setting ourselves up for some success down here along the coastline, which is looking pretty awesome, and I'm going to sleep the night away super fast, and then I will walk you through all of what these buildings are going to be. All right, much better, a bright and sunshiny morning. It's looking pretty fantastic over here, and what we've got in this little spot right here, this is going to be a tailor. I think I'm going to make the building a little larger in this, or at least have it sticking out on a few sides, so we can have like a more of a workstation area for the tailor. Then over here, this is going to be a potter. So this will be the building for the potter, which they'll make like urns and clay pots and flower pots and things like that. But I think what I'm going to do is kind of corner off this area and actually probably going down to the water and give them a spot where they might have a little bit of a clay bed of sorts that they're able to pull from in the water, or at least something that they can do down there. I think it's going to be super sweet. Over here, we're going to have an alchemist. They got a little bit of an alchemist tower. That's going to be a lovely new water mill for us. And one thing I wanted to point out is that the signs are actually all different. And I fixed up, or I didn't fix up. The signs are now fixed up and updated to actually match my plank textures. Thanks to Kai inside of my Discord. They've been kind of doing a fWhip texture pack tweaks thing, and they actually got signs working. So I brought those into the main pack, so thank you to them for that one. But we got our big old Monster Hunters guild up here. And I know one that people really wanted to see was actually going to be a painter's guild. So I added in a second guild building, which is going to be kind of right in here, and we'll have a cool central area with a big fountain or something in this spot. We can have some little caravan-y things around the side, some tents. And then I don't know what I'm going to do in this place right here. Right now I'm really thinking a tree could be pretty sweet. Over here we're going to have the accountant that a lot of people want to see, some accountant building of sorts. Then this one is going to be the harbor master's home, because we're going to have a small harbor area in here. I got all of the terrain stuff in as well, and it's looking pretty good. And this will be a small little harbor area out here, which is going to be pretty sweet. I got the start of a dock going along out there. I don't really know what I'm going to do too much with it. It's probably going to be like 2 or 3 boats about that size, maybe one slightly larger, but we'll have like maybe 3, 4 in total for boats sitting out in this area. I think it'll be pretty sweet, but it's starting to look really good and really large. This village is gaining size very quickly. Like, we have our castle over here that we've been seeing off in the distance, and now we have this village that's way larger than the castle, which makes sense because that's supposed to be like one building. This is kind of a lot of different buildings spread out and everything like that, but it's looking really awesome. One other thing I did want to update y'all on is that I brought in the final farmhand home over here. I haven't done the interior or anything for it yet, and I need to still kind of work on bringing in a few little detail bits around here, like stuff like that. But I brought in this little structure, which is pretty cool. It's just got a little base floor in it for now. It's okay. It's nothing too much going on in there. But I just need to fill in this gap, and now we actually have a pretty good idea of what one of these village streets will look like as we're going throughout this place. So we have everything moving on up here, and I think it's very cool. Also, I did turn off view bobbing. So normally there's view bobbing, so the camera kind of goes up and down when you're stepping around and everything like that. Let me know if you like this better. I think it'll be a little bit more of a stable footage on the YouTube side, so I think it might help with that framiness that we're seeing as well. But I also have a small little pig pen in here, which is some supplies and everything along this side, just a little bit of a storage area to help kind of round this bit off. And what I think I'm going to do back here is bring in some more like wheat fields and things like that guy right over there. Just bring in another one of those sections, and or maybe split it up into 2 or 3, because we have this one up here. We do need to figure out what the terrain's going to look like along here. I think like a little cliff face up in this point, and then more stuff down there is kind of a way we can go with this one. But that's kind of a lot of plans for the future of that side. What I want to be focusing on now, moving forwards for the next little while, and probably the last little bit to finish this video up, because I'm running a little late now. Spent the entire weekend doing not Minecraft things, and it was absolutely awesome, but I want to make sure I get this video out to y'all here on time. So what I think I'm going to do is mess with this little front area over here. As you can see, the cliffs are already in and everything like that. So I want to get the cliffs in throughout the rest, but I want to get the detail in on that point over there. Right now, this is floating, and I can't leave it like that. So we're going to get to doing a little bit of building. But before we do that, I got a little bit of an announcement. This coming Wednesday, as in tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a huge live stream day over on Twitch as kind of a celebration for hitting the 500 subscribers on Twitch. Currently right now it's dropped back down to like 430 at the time that I'm recording this right now. So instead of doing the 12-hour stream, we're going to go ahead and do an 8-hour stream, because I realized that it's my younger brother's birthday on Friday. And the only time that we can kind of meet up as a small family, social distancing, acceptable, happy hour on a porch, don't worry, we're being safe here, is Wednesday. So we're going to be doing a short stream until I go and hang out with my family. So that'll be tomorrow, Wednesday, starting at 8 a.m. Pacific time, or 8:30 a.m. Pacific time probably, and then that'd be 11:30 Eastern time, and I think that's like 4 p.m. or so GMT, something like that. I don't know. Let's get to building. Quick update here is that our river coastline, the riverbed, I guess, the river's edge, that's, yeah, I think that's the right, third time's the charm there. It's getting in place now as far as the stone face being our gray concrete. I know a lot of people are saying that this was kind of a weird one to use and it doesn't work out too well, but I'll be honest, the more that we've added it in here, especially these larger faces like that one over there, I think the contrast between that and our village being so bright and shiny and clean and like this whiter color with everything is making it very cool, for me at least. So for everybody who's still like, ooh, yeah, you should do something else, just give me a little bit. Wait until this project is closer to being finished, and then we can talk. And then we can talk and be like, was it a good idea or a bad idea? Because I think after we get even more of this in here, it's going to look really cool. But one thing that I do need to finish up is coming back here. I hope I have some cobblestone on me. I'm just going to fill in this area back like this with just a bunch of cobblestone. Do I have any spruce? I don't. Okay, that's fine. But I wanted to make it look like they had kind of built this structure up back here and then kind of, you know, built in a lot of this stone everything like that, and then it kind of comes down into the river's edge itself, and then we can just have a bunch of rocks piled up down here using some of our cobblestone stairs and slabs, and that should be pretty good for us. I think I'm just gonna actually go ahead and replace all of this, and we can have a few little bits of dirt around here, I think, on the edge. So it could be something like this. We could just have some dirt kind of hanging out here, and we could put a few small plants on them. But that should be a good little bit of detail for this lower area down in here, and then something, yeah, just something like this. This should serve us pretty perfectly for that little edge there. I think that's okay. Contrary to that one, we can bring in some leaves and stuff as well, and then just kind of nicen it up down here. And there we have it. That little sandy beach is now a perfect spot for some more seabirds to hang out in. I have a few tube coral things over here and a few brain corals. I wanted to try bringing one of them in and seeing if it would look cool. I don't want the colored version. I want the dead one to make it look like something washed up here, kind of like we have these little fossil-y ones, but I don't have any taller ones. So I was thinking maybe one like right there. I don't know, since there's water on those blocks. No, it will die. Okay. But I think like that little way of breaking it up and kind of rounding off that rock almost, instead of it just going kind of straight down, might actually help it out. So I was gonna see if I couldn't throw in, like, maybe we could try one of these guys right back in there, just as some more coral bits that washed up on the shore. Like, we have that one down there, and I think that actually works out pretty well. The whole coastline of this place is now looking pretty freaking sweet, I gotta say. Obviously, there's still some more spaces that need to be filled up, like this little section down there, but that'll be after we do the docks. But I think just this whole pattern of it being, it looks like a coastline. It doesn't just look like a sandy beach now, it looks like a roughened up coastline, which I really enjoy. And then after the bridge, I started transitioning more into that river network side of things over here. And that's been good to go, and all the bamboo's been growing up and filling in the area. And I've added in a few of the little pondy things like this, or little tide pool flats, where it looks like the ocean might be flowing in and kind of hitting directly into here. I feel like that might have a little bit of a rocky structure. Eventually, over time, some residue would come in. So we've got that one over there, and now we've got this one right here. So just slowly adding those in as it kind of moves around this area. I decided, instead of having that potter's like workstation area right in here, it was more naturally coming down into that station, or that section right there. So I think that's where it might be in the end instead. But that's kind of as much work as I wanted to get done in today's video. I'm gonna go find a comment or question of the day now, and we can finish this one off, because I keep forgetting to do those in the last few videos. They've been so busy full of work, but let me go find that, and I will be back with you all. Fluffy clouds are back in place, and they look so cool. But we are ready to go to finish this video off here, and I want to introduce y'all to two more seabirds. We have Sully, and we have Molly. They're just hanging out over here. I saw them down here. I was like, oh, I got some more name tags. We can make up some more names. Let me know if you have any other name ideas for seabirds, or I guess land manatees, being sheep that we have around the area. We've got to come up with a few more names for all of them, but I think it's going to be pretty solid here. My friends, we have the new comment or question of the day for episode 284. This one is coming in from Baker Smiley Face. They're saying, I never understand how you can add so much detail to such small builds. I personally can build really pretty things, but they have to be massive and out of scale. But your buildings are just totally normal in every way, but you make them so interesting, pretty, and unique. So, one of the big things I would mention on this is when you're working on a smaller scale and you want to add in a lot more detail to builds, a big tip is, you know, having these overhangs here. So like we have it coming out one, we have it coming out this way one, so the shape's just not a plain box. And then also using things like in this build style, the fences, and a big thing that makes builds a lot more interesting on the smaller scale is adding some texture variation to the sides of your buildings. And you can even see around some areas along the base, I'm bringing in some extra details like those guys right in there. There's just a whole lot of different stuff going on in these builds, and you can see that using angles, diagonals, even slight ones at that, like where this building that I built up today is not a perfect box. You can see it comes over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I pushed it back a block and brought it out another 5. So instead of just being a plain old boring rectangle, half of the house is moved back a block, which instantly makes your interior space a little bit more interesting to work with, and just kind of everything falls in line from there. So I would say if you're trying to build smaller and trying to add more detail stuff to it, work on experimenting with slight diagonal structures like these, working on slight angles, and then also the small details of the little workstations like the wagons, the little barrels and chests, and where you had your windows, what types of flowers you put in the flower pots. Add more variety, and especially in this build style at least, is a lot of the leaf blocks are really what makes this style a lot more interesting. And then like chimneys and things, I think I have a pretty cool one. back in this area that I really messed with a lot and added a lot of detail to it. You can't really see it because it's so covered with the bushes, but there's a lot of walls inside of this one, which in 1.16 that would be connected right there. Like that little gap wouldn't be missing. It'd make it even better and so much cooler and just better in general. So you can see all of that stuff. And then like the chimneys coming up, we have 2 spires instead of 1 spire, just adding more variety into the builds. And then over here, like this side is still blank and boring because that building is going to be lining up with it. So a lot of the way you lay out everything inside of the world that you're making, how you kind of structuring that little stuff, the small details and those types of things are really what you got to spend a lot of time thinking about, especially like texture variation. Like we have sandstone, we have smooth sandstone, then a little bit of endstone dotted in there too to break it up even further. It's just different ways of using the blocks on a small scale. Just dot them in there, experiment with it. Even stuff like these structures where we have the vertical strip logs like this, and then in the side areas, instead of where it's not this grand face like that, I made them horizontal. So just different little ways that you mix them up. Hopefully that's a few cool tips that you can take into your own world and utilize that type of stuff there. I know my skybox is a little messed up right now with these shaders on. But my friends, thank you all so very much for watching. Please be sure to click that like button down below if you did enjoy today's episode. Make sure y'all stop by the live stream. I'm going to be streaming for quite a few hours on Wednesday, so I would appreciate some friends and viewers and things like that. So that would be absolutely awesome. I think I have, where is my, yeah, part of it is probably we're going to be filling up all these guys again and doing some more terraforming work. But thank you everybody so very much for watching. Click that subscribe button if you're brand new, and I will catch you on the fWhip side.